Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session created for a client that was a long-term cocaine user. And I've worked with many people with a variety of addictions. I would have to say cocaine, both in its powdered form or crack cocaine, other than heroin, is the most destructive that I've seen. And this particular client had health issues directly related to several decades of cocaine use. And it was reaching a point of possible no return. He had met with doctors and experts in the field that basically said there was a high probability of heart attack, some kind of shock response, that it was getting close to the end. And when you hear that kind of stuff, there is only one bit of value that can come from almost, if you imagine a movie that is a kind of an end of the world movie, typically about 20 minutes, 25 minutes into the movie, there's normally some kind of warning, normally from an elderly person saying, turn back, don't go any further. And of course, the group always ignore them. They carry on. And then everyone but the protagonist normally dies. There is only one value of hearing that there is the end of potentially a life. And that is that if you can turn it around, it almost becomes a miracle escape. In this particular case, the client had reasons to live, mainly their daughter. So in this particular hypnosis session, it's not safe, it's not comfortable. It is designed to create emotional leverage. So although it was created for a very specific client, the essence of this is the idea of getting to the abyss, getting to rock bottom, or getting close to rock bottom, and still being able to turn it around. And that's a powerful motive if you can do that. I use different time levels of this, and one of the biggest impactful things for him was imagining what would it be like for his daughter, who was relatively young, to continue living if he wasn't there to protect or to support. That could be detrimental in some way. So there's a lot of leverage there. There's obviously leverage related to health consequences and things like that. But then there's a glimmer of hope. And it's good to position this as a glimmer, because for an addict, it's not an easy way out. There is a psychological addiction, there is a physiological addiction. Also, for any addict, whether that's alcohol, tobacco, or other drugs, it's possible that the person thinks, well, the damage is already done. It's too late. What difference does it make now? And that can lead people to continue on a path of self-destruction. But if your ultimate self-destruction isn't just about you, but about someone else, what I've seen working with way over 1,000 clients is that people will do a lot more for other people than they will ever do for themselves. And if you can tap into that, then there is hope. This is designed for a very specific person that was addicted to cocaine. If you feel like you're struggling with any addiction and you want something a bit more customized, there will be a link in the show notes to book a free consultation call to have a chat with me, see if you feel like I'm the right person to work with. There's never any judgment from me. From my perspective, addictions are one of those things that is almost like a parasite. It takes hold and doesn't let go normally until it's taken everything that you have to offer. I've worked with everyone from cigarette addictions, alcohol addictions, every recreational drug you can think of, porn, shopping, gambling. From my perspective, if you're in a place where you don't want to be, then let's get you to a place where you'd rather be. It might be that you find that because of the graphic nature of this hypnosis session, if you do have a fundamentally self-destructive addiction, even though it might not reflect your personal circumstances, it may be that this is actually quite helpful for you. There's a couple of religious mentions in this, purely because the client made a reference to their belief in that. Ignore anything that isn't relevant, tap into anything that is. I won't say enjoy this session. It's not an enjoyable session to listen to, but it might be impactful and it may be useful. So find a quiet place and relax and just experience this session. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow any feelings of worry, stress, or tension to gradually, breath by breath, feel like it's leaving your body in your outward breath, so that you're breathing in a wonderful feeling of resourcefulness and exhaling feelings of anything holding you back. Maybe that's stress and worry, but maybe it's guilt and regret. Just feel that those things that you no longer need are leaving your body. As you breathe in and breathe out, just feel like it's time to let go. It's time to let go of the stress, the worry, the tension. But most of all, it's time to let go of the baggage of the past. I want you to get a sense that as you look back on your life, certain things became a habit until those habits felt that you couldn't live without them. And I want you to get a sense that knowing what you now know, you would perceive those harmless habits as something more sinister, as something more dangerous. And we're going to go forwards and backwards in time to enable you to create a new way of thinking. I want you to get a sense that sometimes things can be repaired. Maybe there was an old car that could be improved, or maybe an old cabinet in a kitchen that could be replaced. But sometimes we're willing to tolerate things if they're not too bad. Sometimes we need things to be completely broken in order to fix them once and for all. I want you to get a sense that sometimes it's useful to think of how bad things could be in order to stop them getting any worse. As you breathe in and breathe out, just use the power of your imagination to imagine looking through a book of God. And perhaps, as you turn the pages, you get lost in your thoughts, as I want you to imagine that you're communicating directly with St. Jude. I want you to get a sense that there's a part of you that feels an affinity with St. Jude. That St. Jude is there to help people like you. And I want you to imagine asking St. Jude to take you to a place where change can take place. I want you to imagine that St. Jude provides you with a portal through time. And maybe it looks like a swirling ball of light, or maybe just a doorway to access a future that you're heading towards. But I want you to imagine we're going to go to a place that some people may perceive to be inevitable, a dark place, a place that is your abyss. I want you to imagine that you go through the portal and start to see your life as if you're looking at your life like somebody else. I want you to see yourself continuing to use cocaine, to prioritize it above other things. I want you to see the damage it's already done and still see yourself choosing to do it more, but see yourself like you're observing the life of a stranger. They look like you, and you can observe the choices you're making. And just notice how many reasons you have, how many stories, how many excuses, the justifications you use to continue doing what you have been doing in the past. And I want you to follow this over the next weeks and months and perhaps years, until it gets to a point of unbearable misery. Observe that future version of you where the damage to your nose, palate, mouth, teeth has worsened even more. I want you to imagine that you've got X-ray vision and you can see into your skull and see the level of damage that has taken place. But I want you to imagine even that doesn't stop you. You continue to consume. And I want you to imagine it's not possible for you to work. The ill health has taken its toll, and therefore you're not able to keep the job that you have been doing, or in fact, find a replacement. See the impact it has on your confidence, sense of purpose, feeling of status or ego. Now you have even more time on your hands and nothing to do with it all. So I want you to see that you simply find a way, maybe selling things that you own, maybe taking money from assets that have gone up in value, but I want you to see yourself making horrible choices, still consuming cocaine even without a job, causing more and more physical damage to your body, But I want you to see that it leads to a place where you become desperate and mean. And I want you to imagine, I want you to see your daughter witnessing that version of you under the influence of cocaine, doing something that would forever change your daughter's perception of you in a negative way. She will always see you in this way because you are under the influence of cocaine in front of your young daughter. And I want you to feel how heartbreaking it feels to feel that this is now how she sees you. Maybe she's heard from other people that you're a druggie, you're a junkie, but had never seen it like this before, and I want you to see how that impacts you. And yet things carry on. I want you to see that version of you continue to consume until your body shuts down. Maybe it's a heart attack, maybe it's a fit, maybe it's just all of this consumption taking its toll on the body. An inevitable cause and effect of all that damage over so long. And I want you to imagine that you are witnessing your own death, seeing yourself like you're someone else dying in front of your eyes, and link this to what cocaine really is for you. Not the images that part of your brain tries to sell it to you as glamorous, powerful, confident escapism. You now know that's all nonsense. A trick, a con. It's misery and pain and rotting flesh, erosion, and see your body die in front of your eyes. But more importantly, I want you to see your sister discover your body. See the pain on her eyes, how heartbroken she is to lose another member of her family. She has no one left. I want you to see the impact of your choices, conscious or unconscious, on the people you love the most. And then witness as a few days go by and perhaps it's your funeral. And I want you to see your daughter, your sister, and maybe other people that mean a lot to you, observing as you're no longer there. And you get a sense that these people are people you can no longer protect, you can no longer help, you can no longer influence in any way. And I want you to follow the life of your daughter without you being there to help, protect, or assist. Maybe you're being described to your daughter as just a junkie. And maybe that shapes how she sees you, the life choices she makes. See her getting older and older. And I want you to see that she falls into some of the habits that you fell into because she never saw you take your life in a different direction. She never saw redemption. She never saw salvation. She never see you turn things around. I want you to get to the point where enough is enough. That you do anything to go back in time and avoid this future. But I want you to go all the way back to when you were taking pills or your first line of cocaine, but with all the knowledge and pain and misery that you've accumulated. Take all of that back to the very first time you were offered, and you have a new resolve, a resolve to do things differently. And you can't change reality, but you can change perception. And from this point onwards, this drug is not your friend. It is not your source of escapism. It's not a source of pleasure or joy. This is misery. This is a parasite that's been feeding on your soul. This is something that has been rotting your flesh, your bones, your energy. This is a parasite that's been eating you from the inside. And I want you to reach a point where a decision is made that from this point onwards, if you do choose to continue taking cocaine, you're choosing cocaine over your daughter. You're choosing cocaine over your sister. You're choosing cocaine over the people that mean the most to you. I want you to get a sense that there is another path, a different pathway, a different identity, an identity where you're offered a new way. And I want you to imagine that St. Jude is there to inspire you as to what this new way is. Maybe it's doing some of the things you used to do that gave you joy, maybe music or cars or adventure or excitement. I want you to be open to finding pleasure in other things. And I want you to see a future where you start day by day to get clean and heal, to rebuild your life, to change the relationship you have with your daughter, to change the relationship you have with yourself, planting seeds of an idea that your miserable death is not inevitable, that you can escape from the abyss, that like Icarus flying so high, you could change before your wings melt. Open your mind to a new possibility that this need can be met in a better way, that the past is the past and you don't need this drug to manage your emotions, to get through a weekend or a week. I want you to arrive at the conclusion that there is a glimmer of hope, an alternative, a new way. And hold on to that idea of possibility, a glimpse of an alternative reality where you're part of your daughter's future and she sees a father that turned his life around. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, get a feeling of returning to the present. And as you do so, you will create new images as to what cocaine now means to you, but also new images as to what your future could be. Starting to count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.